Kasinska, and I am a former high school teacher. Now I also work as a curriculum consultant for various educational publications. I'm connected with Let's Get Together, and I do a variety of expanded workshops with Let's Get Together, who, by the way, is the host of today's event. And I do workshops for parents and children. They're located, for instance, our grocery shopping workshop we ran out of Loblaws, where we took children down the aisles to do math hands-on. Get Organized, the expanded version of this workshop, talks about different subjects, not just math. Today we're doing a brief version of it, so we'll focus on my specialty. However, not only as a math teacher, I worked as a principal of a school, so I have experience with support in all academic areas. So, when you hear about your child preparing for a final exam, what kind of emotions does the word final exam instill in them? Usually a battery of negative emotions. And so we need to help our child prepare effectively, but also in a way that will calm them down. So we have to tell and teach our children that stress is a normal part of life, and that they will be writing exams forever, because they may not be final exams for grade, but on the job they may need to retrain or take a course in something that's relevant, or do their driver's education exam. So learning how to take an exam properly is a life skill. It's not just a school skill. And as part of that, we need to help our children learn to control their anxiety, because there are many situations in life that are stressful, and we need to learn how to face them in a way that showcases our talent and does not exhaust us emotionally. So this is just a reminder for parents how final exams impact the student's final mark. In Ontario, every single subject has a mark breakdown where 70% of their grade is term work and 30% is the final evaluation. That final evaluation could be a traditional exam, as is usually the case in math, but it could be a project or a performance depending on the subject area, or it could be a combination of those. But it must be 30% of their final grade, and this is all subjects, grade 9 through 12, in every high school, regardless of what school your child may be attending. I have a bit of questions for you in the following slides, which, considering the noise factor, we may not be able to do most efficiently. But let's say you are a student and you have a 75% for your term work, but you'd like to finish the course with an A, because wouldn't we all like to have straight A's on the report card? The question is, will an 85% on the final exam give you an A in the course? Exactly. Reach for your calculator or your cell phone. How would you do this calculation? How would you figure it out? Is there anybody in the audience who could tell me if we have a 75% for term work and an 85% for the final exam, what final grade will you have in the course? How would you calculate that, Ryan?
We're doing an average.
Well, but it's a weighted average, because term work is 70%. And final exam is 30%. How do we multiply those? Yes?
75%, 70, 85%, 30.
Excellent. So we have to multiply 75 times 0.7, because that's the weighting, and 85 times 0.3. Does this student end up with an A on their final report card? No, not enough. So what kind of a mark would they need? Higher than 85 to finish the course with an A. In a moment, you're going to see how that mark can be calculated, but the impact of that final exam is much lesser than you think. So the moral of the story to the students is work hard all year long, because reaching that A on the final exam is a tough goal. So how would we calculate what final exam score we'd need to finish the course with an A? As I said, I'm going to run through this because of the background noise. If you know how to do it, lovely. If you don't, there's a fair bit of algebra. 75 times 0.7 is 52.5. Then we have to have this magical exam score, our unknown, weighted times 0.3, we want an 80. Turn it all around. You'd need a 92% on the final exam to finish the course with an A if you walk into that final exam with a 75%. So getting that A on that final one day is challenging. And if you've had a 75% in the course all year long, that means you haven't really mastered the material. And cramming that all in during the last few weeks of the school year is a tough challenge. Doable? Absolutely. But we need to press for consistent work. So, you need to get organized for final exams. And my question to the one student we have in the audience, or to the parents, does this look like your backpack? Or could this be your binder? Because if the answer is yes, then guess what? You're in bad shape preparing for those final exams. And these are not staged props. These are pictures of students, real backpack and binder. These are my students who I have helped. But this is the quality of students' preparation, and you need to overcome that, because being organized is the key to success. So, what time management challenges do we need to face? Juggling review with ongoing new material. You know, right now we're in May, final exams will be early June. Parents say you need to start reviewing. Well, there's still new material being taught. You still need to do homework. So you have to find extra time. It's going to be above and beyond your regular dose of homework. So you prepare a timeline. My exam is June 7th. Many high schools are already giving out final exam schedules. My exam is June 7th or 9th. I need to start reviewing Unit 1 next weekend. And I need weekend time because my evenings are busy. And you have to identify your gaps and areas of knowledge, like Laura said, because otherwise you're just going to review the stuff you remember well. And that's not efficient. You have to prepare an exam calendar and adjust it as time goes on, because all of a sudden you realize that that Unit 1 that you thought you had mastered, you don't remember. So it's not going to take an hour to review, it's going to take 3 hours. So you have to plan and replan and revisit your schedule. It's nice if you can complete a practice exam. Many teachers give that out. There are also resources on the Let's Get Together website for practice exams from a variety of public high schools. So you have to ask yourself as a student, what did you learn in this course? Or what should have you learned? Because if you've been an A student all along, that's easy to review. But not everybody is organized and structured from September to May. So you have to find out what are the key topics ahead of time. So organization is key. You set up a review folder or binder for each subject. You put your past tests or other projects, whatever was happening in that course. And you have to be honest with yourself. What are your areas of strengths and what are your weaknesses? And you need to identify them, name them, and be ready to work towards improvement. This is a sample exam study calendar that I make for my students. As you see, this is from semester 1, but it doesn't matter. Parents can rip out an empty calendar page or print one off at home, put the exams in red, and then fill in study times. And when you look at it on a calendar, you realize that maybe you shouldn't schedule an orthodontist appointment the week before, because then they tighten those blasted wires, the child's in pain, they don't want to study. You don't want to schedule, you know, a full day long picnic with the family 2 days before final exams begin. You want to protect your child's time, so parents and students work together to monitor scheduling of events. Same with part-time jobs for older students. Try to talk to the employer to give them some flexibility when this peak time comes up. So, how do you ensure success for your child? Encourage them to ask for help. Students are often not good self-advocates. They're intimidated, they're shy, they're embarrassed to ask for help. We need to encourage them to overcome that. Asking for help, your teacher is the primary resource, the classroom teacher, and they will be willing to help if they're approached during their help times. So review classes, listen, copy, ask, make good use of that time. Don't tune out, oh, I remember we did that 2 months ago. No. Focus. Attend extra tutorials and minimize distractions. I call them the 3 Fs: Facebook, phone, and friends. And Flintstones, another F, right? So yes, you need to interweave study time with relaxation time, but you can't be doing them side by side the whole time, right? So there are certain quiet moments where those 3 Fs are put behind your back, and then when you're done your study block of about 2 hours, absolutely call your friend, go on Facebook, whatever you do to have fun and relax as a teenager. Go outside. We need to encourage our children to do some physical activity during their breaks of studying. We all know the benefits of oxidizing our brain, being outdoors. Hopefully, you know, this winter weather will leave us momentarily and we can actually go outdoors. And for older students, avoiding all-nighters. We can encourage. I mean, as a student, of course, I studied till some stupid hours, but now I tell my children not to do that. And of course, they listen and obey, always. So, math. How do you study for a math exam? It's different from studying for an English or French or a history exam. My full workshop that I do with Allison and in schools talks about the different subjects, but math is different. The main idea is you study math by doing problems. So even though it's listed at the bottom, it is the most important bullet. Math is learned by solving problems. You don't read somebody else's solution. I mean, you certainly can, but that doesn't count as studying. That's review and preparation, but then you have to solve the questions from scratch. You have to have paper, pencil, calculator if necessary, and work through from the beginning to end so that you avoid reading in favor of solving. It needs to be done by you. So if you see your child reading through their math binder, that's not good enough. That's not going to produce results. They need to have a stack of paper and more paper and work through questions. So when are you ready for final exams? If you've gotten organized and if you have your binders with all past key information, not every lesson, because if you look at a binder in May, it's about that thick for a math course. Just flipping through those pages takes 10 minutes, let alone finding anything important. So you extract the key. You adhere to your exam study schedule, but you adjust it as time passes, as you find out that certain units were easier or others were harder for you. Definitely extra help with teachers, or maybe you have a study buddy or a study team that works effectively, which is usually better for older students than younger students, but it is a personal arrangement. Definitely physical activity. I've mentioned that before, but that is so important. You cannot spend 10 hours on Sunday just studying. By the end, it's not effective, it's not efficient. So we encourage our students, make them do some yard work. Oh yeah. Make them run some chores for you. That's okay. Their mind is on something else, and they're helpful. So, also, on exam day, let's say you've prepared all this, but on exam day, you also have some key moments to prepare for. You need to pack your little transparent Ziploc bag with calculators. You want a water bottle, You want to bring a sweater, because when they crank up, if your school has air conditioning in June, you may be freezing for 2 hours, and that's all you'll be thinking about. You want to be comfortable physically and mentally. Have a sweater, take it on, take it off. Go to the bathroom right before the exam, because if you're sitting there holding your legs together, you can't think either. And you don't want to waste exam time on running to the bathroom. So these may seem simple rules, but when a teenager is wrapped up in the stress of anxiety of exam prep, they forget about this. So little, simple, motherly advice. During the test, everybody has a way, or should find a way, that helps them relax. Implement that. Convince yourself you're well prepared, acknowledge it. Keep your work legible, for your sake, really for the teacher's sake, because if they can't read your work, you're going to lose marks, and the teacher's going to be frustrated reading your exam. I know from experience, what did this kid mean by this random squiggle here? I don't know. Keep it legible, go for easy marks first, and then you're prepared. So this is the abbreviated version of how to prepare for a math final exam, and I wish you all luck.